Speech, you said having a common purpose derived from history is critical to a nation's survival. What is Hungarian's purpose? And if the same is true to Europe, what would be or should be the EU's?
It's a very good question, very tricky question. Honestly, it's very hard to summarize a nation's purpose in one sentence because in reality it comes through your history, your culture, your language, your way of understanding. But you has to have a purpose. Otherwise, you are losing direction and you are getting into trouble and you are losing the chance of being successful, and especially in this very complicated 21st century environment where I think after the age of neoliberalism, the age of sovereignty is emerging, which means that those powerhouses, nations, countries can be successful who have their identity, their strict values, their way of understanding, and through this, with this background, they can engage in international dialogue. If we Europeans and the European Union is losing its identity and losing its solid background, how can it be an important partner in international dialogue? This is my point.
Talking about dialogue, the EU Council Summit is starting tomorrow, and migration is shaping up to be one of the main topics again. Why do you think is suddenly all member states want much tougher migration policies after years of dismissing countries like Hungary and Poland for saying the same?
Well, unfortunately, I'm a bit more skeptical about that because it's true that since 2015, when we were talking about the exact same things, the tone of international dialogue changed a little bit, and now everybody is less enthusiastic about migration, a bit more skeptical. Obviously, the anti-migration forces, as political forces, are getting stronger and stronger. But unfortunately, European institutions didn't change so far. So it's and one clear example is obviously Hungary, that we are under constant legal and political pressure from the Commission side to change our regulation, which is very effective, and we are able to defend our borders and defending other European nations as well from illegal migrants. But we have to pay 200 million euros as the biggest fine in European history, and 1 million euro on a daily basis extra until we don't change the regulation. So probably there is a change in the discourse, but in reality, from the European institution side, nothing changed until now. The migration pact will be not enough to have effective solutions to keep the people out of the territory of European Union. So we try to use the European Council meeting, all European Council meeting, as an opportunities to advocate the paradigm shift and advocating the European Council to put more pressure on the institutions, on the Commission and on the Parliament to really be not again being an obstacle of the change, but being a catalyzing force. Unfortunately, so far it didn't happen.
Aren't we beginning to see a change in the Commission, as von der Leyen just recently, 2 days ago, sent out a memo to all member states in which she embraced a significant change in how deportations should be done, even embracing external migration and deportation hubs in third countries. You don't see this as a beginning of a genuine change?
I hope it's the beginning, but in reality, what they are doing is that they keep talking about how effective and how wonderful the Migration Pact is. And the Migration Pact itself, which was accepted just recently before the election, it's a legal structure which it's not just allowing the member states, but forcing member states to build up open refugee or migration camps inside the territory of European Union. And if you are not doing that as a member state, then you are under pressure from the Commission, and you can be again penalized by the European Court. So I understand that there is a political need of changing a discourse, but in reality, if Hungarians want to adapt the Migration Pact, and want to be in line with the current European law, it would mean that we have to open our borders and make migrant camps inside the territory of Hungary, which is something what we don't want to do. So this is the everyday policy reality, what we are facing. So we welcome all the nice sayings and all the nice statements about the changing course, but we want to see the results in a legal structure.
There's one possible alternative. After the Netherlands, Hungary also submitted the request to opt out from the common migration policy. Do you say it's possible that the EU grants this exception? And if so, can it be the start of a wave, a domino in Europe?
So we have two recommendations for our European friends. First of all, if they really so desperately want the migrants and they don't allow Hungary to do its job, to defend its borders, then we will send all migrants with buses to Brussels, and then they can get all the migrants they want. This is solution number one. But solution number two could be that we realize that the situation is critical. And in the last 8-9 years, the European Commission and the European institutions are failed to provide an acceptable solution for the migration crisis. So migration policy, as a policy, it is on a transnational European level, it's failed. So then the constructive way of thinking should be to give back the power to the member states to make regulations of their own, based on their own need. Get back control. Let the nations, let the member states to get back control on their migration policies. And then each and every country can have a regulation they want. Those who are willing to maintain the pro-migration policy and still want to let in people, they can regulate it and they can manage it in a proper way. And those countries like Hungary, which don't want to go to that direction and don't want migrants, they can regulate and they can manage things in that way. I think this could be a very the reasonable, common sense based approach. And we are very proud that it wasn't raised by us, but it was raised by the Dutch government. We openly initiated this opt-out possibility for ourselves as well. And I hope that the debate will start soon. I understand that we have to change the treaties, or we have to have a unanimous agreement, but I don't see the point why any country could say no to another country to get back control over its migration policy.